Okay, there's one quick thing I wanted to show you, and that has to do with the welding of that object after we've created our morph, and uh, and then after we've created our UV for it. And the thing is, going through and actually welding point by point can take a while with some of the more high-res objects, and sometimes can't be done if that original morph is still there. Now in this object, our morph is gone, but I'm going to go ahead and create a morph map really quick just so I can show you how exactly you go about deleting that. And then what you can do is just go back to your base object and just hit merge points. So we're going to go up to Windows, Layers, or Vertex Maps panel, and expand our morph. And you'll see that our morph that we just created is in there. And what you want to make sure you do is right mouse click on it, delete vertex map, and if we can close that out, and then you can go back to your base model, hit M on the keyboard for merge points, and click OK. Right now, since we didn't have any of them broken up or anything like that, it didn't merge any points, but since we did split it up before, what's actually going to happen is that'll go ahead and just merge everything back together as long as we're on our base layer and we have all of our morphs deleted that broke it up to create our UV map. So that's one thing you want to make sure you do if you're going to use this method of UV mapping. And there's one other thing too. I'm going to go to File, New Object, just to demonstrate something, and that is our Bandsaw Tool, which was not working earlier, and I'm not sure why. But I'm going to go ahead and just kind of recreate what we had before just by creating a box, and then go ahead and just smooth shift that, just to create kind of one of the tubes we had before, and then go ahead and just bend it. Oh, undo, bend that the other direction. Just a small recreation of that tube. Hit tab to pull that up. And now we're going to take a look at the bandsaw tool because it is a very useful tool and you should know how to use it if you are going to be doing any sort of organic modeling. So we're going to go to the multiply tab, and actually we're going to be using Bandsaw Pro and not just Bandsaw. So what I want to do is go ahead and change this to the wireframe shade so we can see our polygons a little bit better. And I'm going to select two polygons. What we're selecting is the loop that we want to pretty much knife. But this is a much easier tool than using knife, especially if we get some objects where it's all tangled up and there's other objects in front of it, and it'll be very difficult to go ahead and knife that. In this case, it'd be easy to knife, but if we had something in front of that that was still part of the object and we didn't want to knife that and it was kind of getting in the way, we can use the Bandsaw Pro tool. So I'm going to go ahead and select Bandsaw Pro now, making sure we have these two polygons selected in the direction of the loop. And just like Bandsaw Pro, and now you can see it already made some cuts because my default set a little bit differently. So I'm going to N on the keyboard, and I'm going to change our preset to custom 1, which will clear all that out. And this should be what it looks like for you. And if you click Enable Divide, what it's going to do is go ahead and cut it down that point that we have right here, this line, and it's cutting it right down the center. Now what we can also do is go under Operation and Add, and click in these sections here, which is going to create knives following along the loop. So now if I check off Enable Divide and check it back on, now you can see that those knives have been created within our object. So we can do that as a much easier way than doing knife. And if you also notice too, our points from those knives are selected after we end the tool along with our polygons. So we can use those to edit further if we need to. But this works with any loop. We could also even go ahead and Shift D, Metaform, maybe add some more polygons in there. And then I can go ahead and select, let's say we wanted some more definition in this set of polygons that goes all the way around. In that loop, we can select those two, go to Bandsaw Pro, hit N, and now you can see that we're using that several amount of knives in there to add all that. But let's say we just wanted one, so we could set that to the default, which is what I had before, or go to Custom 2, which is a brand new object that you can use to pretty much create your own. Close that out, hit the spacebar, and now you can see we have these extra amount of definition in there. And if we go to points, now we can also edit that cut we just made, so I can pull that up if I wanted to. So there's lots of different things you can do with the Bandsaw Pro tool, and just make sure you're selecting the right direction, because if it's not a full continuous loop, sometimes it won't work. But we can also go the other direction if we wanted to. So we'll just grab these polygons right here, go to Bandsaw Pro, and now you can see it's cutting all the way around. And we can add that cut right down the center, and you can do that for just about anything. So it's a great organic modeling tool if you can't use the knife tool, or you just want to add a little bit more, and it can be a lot quicker.